Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. We started playing the video games back in 1971, and where are we now? We're getting into the holiday season. It's the beginning of December 1982.
Come on, let's break it down. Oh, yeah.
And we were last on a obscure home console, the Emerson Arcadia 2001, checking out Robot Killer. Let's see what our next game is. The next game is Scott Adams' graphic adventure number 6, Strange Odyssey for the Atari home computer, the 400 or the 800. We saw Strange Odyssey back in 1979 first. Right now, you can play Strange Odyssey on the XD Sorcerer, the TRS-80, on MS-DOS, and on the Atari home computer. So why are we playing it when we already played it on the Atari home computer? Because this is not just Strange Odyssey. Oh no, it's the remastered re-release Scott Adams' graphic adventure Strange Odyssey. This is a series of games that he took the text adventures and he added pictures. He actually added graphics to the text adventure games. This is, we've already seen 6 games in the series for the Apple II, and that's all of the original Scott Adams games that have been remastered for all the games up to this point. We've already seen this remaster on the Apple II. This is the first time we've seen it for the Atari home computer. This marks the 444th game that we've seen on the Atari home computer thus far on Chronologically Gaming. This is a series of adventure games that Scott Adams has done, and this is the 59th time we've seen a Scott Adams classic adventure game thus far. And the company that does this is Adventure International. If I flip this over on the back, Adventure International is not new to the show. This is the 94th video game that we've seen that Adventure International has had anything to do with. And because it's Scott Adams, it's been over 50 times we've seen Scott Adams on Chronologically Gaming. He's everywhere. He's like the king of adventure games just because of the amount of content that's been put out there. And this is the ad we've seen before from the box as well. What other artwork do we have for S.A.G.A number 6, Strange Odyssey? The front of the box reminds me of something from an old sci-fi movie. There's the 5 1/4 floppy disk that you're going to put into your Atari. Why not a cartridge? I don't think the game would fit with the amount of space, but I love cartridges on the Atari. That's true. It does look like that IMAX story. There's the example, the screenshot. We've already seen the manual for this one before, so let's just pop in and play some Strange Odyssey. Side A of our disc. This is Alexis Adams, Scott Adams, Kim McNair, and Adventure International. Released at the beginning of December 1982 for your Atari home computer. This is the 9th time we've seen Kim McNair on the show. And this game is essentially an enhanced remake of the original text adventure games. This is the 13th enhanced remake of a video game we've seen. There's only that many. Isn't it great to know that we're in a time where we're not having tons and tons of remakes being pumped out? That it's actually pretty refreshing. All right, so first you get the margins straight. And then don't you love it when you load a game and then it asks you to flip the disc over and load again? So we're going to digitally take the disc out, flip it over to side B, and then hit enter. This is also the 18th time we played a video game that has the creator's name in the title. Now, for this purpose, this is asking us to change our television screen to make sure that the colors match up. I am unable to get the GTIA graphics to work perfectly or correctly. So just pretend that I haven't tweaked or messed with the color control of my television. It actually works well for a sci-fi game, but just bear with me. All right, we'll just say yes. That's all the colors, even though it obviously is not. And there it is, Adventure International. Everyone take off your shirts. At least from the front of the box. That must have been is that us that's without the shirt from the front of the box? Art by Adventure Graphics. Do you want to restore a previously saved game? And actually, yes, we do. Because as we do with adventure games, a lot of these games we can't showcase the whole thing. So I'm going to load up where we left off the last time we played. Ready? On the Apple II. That was the last time we played Strange Odyssey. And then we want to load this one. So previously on Strange Odyssey, on Chronologically Gaming, stranded on a mysterious planet with no fuel and no way home, our explorers search the wrecked ship for supplies. Armed with a spacesuit, a trusty phaser, and a shovel, they stepped into the unknown. Beyond the airlock and across the alien surface, a hidden cave revealed a strange boulder, etched with unreadable markings. One shot from the phaser cracked open its secrets. A shimmering curtain of light leading to an otherworldly chamber. Inside, breathable air, bizarre machinery, and a discovery that changed everything. This wasn't just a room, it was a portal, a gateway to countless dimensions. After mastering its controls, the explorer activated the machine, braced against the disorientation, and stepped through, only to find themselves standing in an alien museum. And that's where we are. We're in an alien art museum, and the visible items are a strange flickering curtain of light, and then what we have in front of us here. And let's see, what is it? Now, put all your joysticks away. It's all keyboard controlled. And it's going to switch from the graphics to the text, just like this, flipping back and forth. We have a alien painting and an alien sculpture. Let's get painting. Pick it up. Okay. And get sculpture. Got it. Pick them up. All right, so go curtain. Curtain. So we're going to head back through the curtain where we were to the original portal. And as we go, every time we switch to a new screen, it has a brief load, and now we're back into the main room. All right, so let's remove our suit. Notice that as soon as I start typing, it switches from the graphic screen to all text. Very similar to how it was when we played Strange Odyssey on the Atari without the Scott Adams graphic adventure experience. All right, so now we're going to switch over to goggles. Where? The goggles. Everybody remember when we picked those up? It's too dark. Oh, I love it. All right, now after that, we're going to look. Painting. I didn't have to say examine, just look. I see nothing special. It's too dark to see. Wait, I'm wearing the goggles, right? Look at... It shouldn't understand painting. Yeah, it doesn't understand 3 words. It's a 2-word text parser, so we can't examine. Examine painting. See nothing special. Drop goggles. Can I stop wearing them? And then see dropping goggles. Okay, get goggles. All right. And then wear goggles. So every time you turn them on, you can't see anything with the goggles? Interesting. We're supposed to be able to look at the painting and see something from the painting. But if we can't see anything, then can we even look at anything? Yeah, we see nothing special. All right, drop it. So after that, we're supposed to drop the painting and the goggles and then look at the statue. Drop the painting. Let's see. Drop. I have noticed when we play this on the Atari home computer, there's a little load time between the pictures and the text. Drop the painting here, and let's get belt. Okay, so we're picking up the belt from the statue, and then now we have to use the rod on the wall, which is oddly phallic shaped. That's right, Brad. I've heard reviews from other people that have played lots of adventure games that this one has a lot more to be desired, and you can tell that this was a much older time for adventure games with the amount of text. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of description either. The Infocom games feel like a true interactive fiction game. This one is, it's not as descriptive, I guess. Or it's not really immersing me in the world that we're playing. All right, so let's do push rod. Nothing happens. It seems to be... Okay, pull rod. Then the plastic should glow. Okay, so now we should be able to. This time we have to touch the uh, plastic. All right, that's how we teleport. The plastic glowed briefly, and then wear our belt. Everyone, get ready. Now we want to drop everything else we have in inventory. Drop sculpture. Sculpture? It did. Okay. It doesn't have to recognize every letter, thankfully. So if you mistype things, it's all right. All right. So we dropped everything from our inventory. What do we have? Oh, INV. Inventory. What do we have? Oh, I love this. The graphic adventure actually shows you a picture of what you have. So we have a shovel, and we want to keep the belt. So drop the belt. Or drop the shovel, I mean. And drop shovel. The reason why we're dropping all our items is because after we twist belt, how are you supposed to figure this out? I don't know. Don't understand what you mean. Wait, you don't understand twist belt? Drop everything but the belt. Oh, drop suit. There, that's why. Now twist belt. I still had one more object. Okay, look belt. Oh, very nice. Now can we twist? Twist belt. It should fit. It has a large buckle. Oh, maybe we twist the buckle. Yeah, I know you don't understand. I barely understand what I mean. Twist buckle. That's right, there it is. Oh, okay, it floats. So you have a belt that is an anti-gravity belt. So now that we have the belt buckle turned on, we have anti-gravity. Now let's go ahead and wear the suit, which I think we have to pick up, right? No, it works. Just wear it. Yeah, that's fine. And after we've worn the suit, now we can go to through the curtain. Go curtain. All right, so we're in, and we're in another world. We've transported to like a mining colony. And then let's look at what we have here. Tell us what we see. Oh, nothing special. It says we have the curtain of light and an alien sign. Look, sign. Or, okay, read, sign. From Adventure Number 7, Mystery Funhouse. There's an ad for another Scott Adams adventure game, Mystery Funhouse, which I don't think they ever brought over to it's when they stopped after Adventure 6. They didn't do any more Scott Adams graphic adventure series, so we're never going to see Mystery Funhouse with graphics, at least not officially. All right, so what should we do? I guess we're in the wrong spot. Let's go curtain. So the rest of this game plays out where you're trying to find objects on an alien world and find enough objects to finally get your all the parts of your spaceship. And then once you have all the parts of your spaceship, then you can finally leave. But you're going to be going from different realms or areas through this curtain, using the rod, pulling the rod, and then going through the magical curtain that you see in the background. And that's how you traverse the game. It reminds me a little bit of Time Zone that was brought out by S.A.G.A. A while back, but that was a massive game, much bigger. The puzzles were even better, and I would say the story and how they put it together was incredible. It was much better. This one, while we played already up to this point all 6 of the Scott Adams graphic adventure games, you can already see the way we work this on Chronologically Gaming is we see an adventure game and we start playing a little bit of it. We just check out a little bit how the game works, and then we stop. If we see the game again, like if it's ported to other home computers, then we load it up like we've done now, and then we play it some more. We keep playing it a little bit longer, and then eventually, if there's enough ports of a game, we'll keep playing through it. So we're going to be seeing this on more Japanese home computers later, so we will be playing more of the game, just again giving you a taste of what it's like to play adventure games right now in December 1982 in the context of everything else that's out there. So I would still say of this game, it's not as impressive as the other ones we've seen. In fact, the one on the Apple II, how that one played, I felt like that one was a funner experience, especially the other ones in the series. Maybe I just have a soft spot for The Count that's available as a Scott Adams graphic adventure game, and we've already played that on the Atari home computer. But this one is the last one for the Atari, the Atari home computer. So of all the games you could play right now, up to this point, it's okay, and I'd like to be able to finish maybe part 2 when we check this out on other Japanese home computers when it gets ported over. But Saga number 6, it feels kind of like we're playing an old school adventure game. So I actually think it's fairly average compared to the other ones that we've seen that were graphic adventure games, which were, I would say, 3.5 or 4 stars. This one might be closer to 3 stars. In fact, the only rating that's been thrown out right now, live in December 1982, was Brad's thrown out a 2.5 star. I won't go that low. I was actually thinking 3, maybe 3.5, because it is still, when you think of all the video games you could play across all home computers and the genre of adventure, adding the graphics like they're doing, is still really, really nice. Right now in December 1982. Marshall's saying 3 stars, so yeah, I'm actually going to say just 3. When we saw this on the Apple II, I did say 4 because of how this compares to the other adventure games. But for this on the Atari, I'm just going to say it's pretty average. And it's because of the puzzles, the story, and the game itself isn't as good as the rest in the series. And I can understand why they stopped here on number 6. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. Nice. Now we're going back to the Vectrex. It's a home console, and this is Scramble. Let's play some Scramble brand new on the Vectrex. Here's the box. Scramble. This is awesome. We originally saw Scramble in the arcades by Konami February 1981. And I mentioned this before, this really isn't the first official way to play Scramble at home. The last time we saw Scramble at home was on the Pyuta, or the Tomy Tutor. And I said that was the first way to play Scramble at home, but I was wrong. There's another way that may even be earlier than that. On the NEC PC 6001 in Japan, there's Scramble that Konami brought officially to the computer. Now, the release dates obviously are really close, and you don't know for sure, but my money would be on that home computer, the PC 6001, as the first official way to play Scramble. So at home, this is the best way to play, or the first way to play Scramble on a home console. So first time officially Scramble is in a home console, but you can play it at home. And at this point, we played a lot of games that were called Scramble that were not even real Scramble. On the Commodore VIC-20, there's a Scramble game. There's a game called Snake Scramble. QS Scramble is on the ZX81, and Spectrum Scramble is on the ZX Spectrum. So there's a lot of Scramble we've already played, but it's not real, official Scramble. This one is real. This marks the 9th game that we've seen for the Vectrex up to this point. We've played Mindstorm, Armor Attack, Berserk, Blitz Action Football, Clean Sweep, Cosmic Chasm, Hyper Chase, and Ripoff. This one is done by GCE, and then later it's going to be done by Milton Bradley. But the big reason that you want to talk about it is right down at the bottom, the trademark. This is by Konami. Konami Industry manufactured under license, copyright 1981, because they did the original in the arcades. This is the 44th game that we've played that Konami has anything to do with. Konami only has 44 things we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. They've done 19 arcade games so far. And because of Frogger, we've seen Konami on one game on the Atari home computer, on the Apple II, on the TRS-80, the Philips Video Pack, and the ZX81. They've done 5 games for the NEC PC 6001, 3 games on the Pyuta, 2 games on the Sword M5, 2 games on the Intex Adventure Vision, 4 games for the Arcadia 2001 or Bandai Arcadia 2001, 3 games on the Atari 2600, and then their officially published game, Puyan, we've seen. But this is the very first game that Konami's ever done for the Vectrex. Let's see what other artwork we have for Scramble. Real Scramble, not ripped off Scramble. There's the box by Milton Bradley, if that's the one you remember. Besides the box, we also have the system. The Vectrex is the best console, in my opinion, of all the consoles you could play right now. Maybe close to ColecoVision just a little bit, just because you can play everything on Atari on the ColecoVision too. But no one can top the vector-based graphics. The controller is an analog joystick with those 4 buttons, and it works really good if you're playing an arcade game that only had button control, because it's meant to be like its own arcade control panel. It's really nice. There's the cartridge that you just pop in the side, because the screen comes with the Vectrex. And then we have the version in Japan, known as Scramble Wars. That's right. Did you know Vectrex was in Japan? It's not in Japan right now. We're playing the very first time you could ever play Scramble, but it's cool to know it was by a completely different name over there. And then we have an example of the screenshot. So here's the manual for Scramble. Oh man, we already know how to play, but I want to see what they say for the game itself. Watch out for that next mountain. Maneuver your ship over rough terrain in an effort to destroy the enemy base. Careful piloting alone won't get you to your destination. You must brave rockets, UFOs, flameoids, and some very tight tunnels. Few people have ever seen the enemy base, let alone destroy it. Will you be one of the select few? Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see. They have the setup over on the left side. It's really easy. Everything comes with the system. It's great. You just plug it in the wall. Don't have to deal with an audio-video cable or any of that. It's fantastic. I love the Vectrex. Scramble controls are pretty simple. You use the joystick to move your ship around. You have 1 button for bomb, 1 button for laser. And this does give you a little bit of difficulty selections. Not a whole lot. It's only got 3 different game difficulties, and it's if the missile's going to fly straight or curve, and then the speed of the UFO, and then how long the maze is, which makes it a little difficult with your managing your fuel. So your ship will become immediately into view, and the landscape of the first journey will begin flying beneath you. If you're not familiar with Scramble, you'll understand, because we played a lot of Scramble-like games. And this one is very faithful to the original arcade. Over on the right side, that tells you what everything is. There's the missiles, obviously. Fuel tanks, this looks like a television with 2 legs. The military bases look like the same boxes from Super Cobra. The UFOs, the flameoids, do they show your destination? I don't think they show it here. But they have all 6 levels. Level 1's the mountains, the caverns, the flameoids, the city, the maze, and then the enemy base, where you just have to bomb the base, which I believe is just a diamond. The big draw with Scramble is the fuel gauge. The bottom of the screen slowly starts going down. We all know what the fuel gauge is now, because in 1981, these were horizontally scrolling shoot-'em-ups that just hit the scene in the arcades, and the fuel is basically the timer. Just keep blowing up enough fuel bases and you'll get more fuel. There's your scoring. You got to know what it is in December 1982. I score and then restart the game. I love it. Thanks, Vectrex, for the memories. Let's pop in that cartridge and play some Scramble by Konami and GCE, released in the beginning of December 1982. Right here, first. So this one does have game modes. You can play Hot Seat Multiplayer Arcade if you want to, but I'm just going to go with the first one-player mode. It starts off with a little ditty for us, and you can see all you got to do is start playing the base game. I got my single-fire shot in front, and then I have my bombs to drop. Oh man, sound effects are great. The response is excellent. How much freedom do I have? I got freedom to move around. We've played so many games like this, and it is really, really great. Not just the vector-based graphics, but just a scrolling shoot-'em-up that's like Scramble, where you get to see the different stages. How far can you go? How long can you last? And actually, whenever I play this and I think of Konami making this, I just know what Konami is going to do later, and how this feels like it's the grandfather of shoot-'em-ups. Imagine a world back in 1981 when we first saw this in the arcades. It was really close to the release of Super Cobra, and then we just started to see lots and lots of scrolling shoot-'em-ups, or horizontally scrolling shoot-'em-ups in the arcade. And then they started to show up on home computers, and then just continued to keep coming. And then we saw vertically scrolling shoot-'em-ups after that. So this was the beginning, and so it's great to see it come home. Here's the part where you have to make sure the flameoids mean you can't blink. You just stare with your eyes open. Make sure you keep bombing. Grab a fuel, blow up some fuel bases and get your fuel. I'll just hug the left side of the screen. If you do reach 10,000 points, you get an extra life. Whoa. Something felt like it pulled me in that time. So we do call these scrolling shoot-em-ups. This is the 185th scrolling shoot-em-up that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming. It is only the 23rd scrolling shoot-em-up that we've seen across all home consoles right now. It's the very first scrolling shoot-em-up for the Vectrex. And it's so close to the release of when Vectrex came out that this one's like a must-have that you should buy for the console. Oh yeah, this is great. It plays so well, and it's just so faithful to the arcade. As usual, when we play any games that are like this, I want to just see it all. I want to get to the next level. Felt the same way with games like Moon Patrol. All the ones that have been cloning this. It's awesome. Alright, now we're going to get a little tighter. We're at the top. The first round or first wave, you don't have to worry about your fuel too much. It doesn't tick down as fast. The other thing to notice is you might be seeing flicker on the screen, and part of that is because of the emulation, but the other part of it is whenever you want to capture the gameplay footage of a Vectrex, the frame rate of it with most cameras makes it blink like this, but it actually does not. So the system itself and the game itself, you don't really notice this flicker that's on the screen. So if you can, try to ignore the flicker that's here. All right, so here's the middle cavern. I want to get all the way to the end to show you at least the first wave. You have to do some smooth flying as it speeds up. Move forward, come back, and just maneuver. Oh my gosh, it's so tight. Right there, gosh, and then you gotta pull back. Come on, all the way, we can do it. I think this is our last life. Okay, now we're on the last stage. This is stage 6. There's the base. It's a diamond. We missed it, but that's all right. You'll come through again. Pull back. Love it. You got a very satisfying song at the end. Fantastic. Some of the other really good horizontally scrolling shoot-em-ups that we've seen on all home consoles up to this point have been kind of Defender clones, not Scramble. Games like Chopper Command, Defender on the Atari 2600, Star Wars, Space Jockey, Megaforce, Planet Patrol, and Bermuda Triangle. And there's some other games that scroll differently on besides horizontally scrolling shoot-em-ups. There goes my fuel. That's why I lost control. Zaxxon on the ColecoVision right now is isometrically scrolling, and then Zaxxon on the Atari 2600 is a behind-view scrolling shoot-em-up. And then we have seen vertically scrolling shoot-em-ups like Vanguard, and then the most recent one was River Raid. And obviously, you can't really hold that much of a candle to River Raid, but this is really good for horizontally scrolling. Some of the variants of Scramble that we've seen, including Scramble and including Super Cobra, has been so much. This is the 57th variant of Scramble, including real Scramble and Super Cobra, and that's 57 Scramble-likes across all systems that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming. We've seen 13 clones of Scramble in the arcade. We've seen 41 on all home computers. This is only the 3rd clone of Scramble that we've seen across all home consoles, after Cosmic Avenger on the ColecoVision and Super Cobra on the AdventureVision. So even we ran out of fuel again. So even the if you don't find it as impressive or engaging, as far as home consoles go, there is not a whole lot to compare with. But for my money, this is better than the AdventureVision Super Cobra. This is better than the Cosmic Avenger on the ColecoVision. So this is the best way to play anything like Scramble across any home consoles. And even some of the games we played that were Defender-like, this is awesome. This is classic and so well done. I'm already seeing some ratings being thrown out for everyone that's here for the live show in December 1982. I'm still going to give it higher marks because of the Vectrex. And this game already, if we played anything like this on other home consoles, I mean, Cosmic Avenger on the ColecoVisions would be the closest one, but still, this one delivers. This one has all the modes of the arcade, and it's doing it differently. It's not using raster graphics. It's got the vector-based graphics. It has that classic arcade gameplay loop. How many waves can you get Can you pass by? How many times can you, or how high of a score can you get? We made it. Pull up, pull up. It has checkpoints for every stage. It is assisted by this overlay, so the color you see on the screen isn't really there. That's just the plastic that's going over the front of the screen. This marks the 39th video game we've seen that is using vector-based graphics. There's my high score. Let's go in again. We've seen 30 video games with vector graphics in the arcades, and the rest have been on the Vectrex. If you wanted to compare this to other arcade vector games, some of the best ones you can play right now in the arcade are games like Black Widow, Zektor, Gravitar, TaxScan, Space Duel, Boxing Bugs, Elimination, and Space Fury, and of course Tempest. But we're going to see most of those on the Vectrex. A lot of them are going to be ported over. This one is just so well done. It's really fun. And another thing that's really impressive is the size of this cartridge is only 4 kilobytes. This is 4 kilo power. The same size as most standard Atari 2600 cartridges. They're packing all of this game, possibly because of the vector graphics, into this, and it's so amazing. So I'm looking over in the chat. Most people have some 4.5 stars from James, and Le Suisson Came Wild. 4 stars from Brad, 4.5 from Marshall. Yes, that's right. The fuel is a threat in this version, but only when you reach the later stages. First wave is manageable, but in the later waves, especially by wave 3, you have to hit every single fuel canister or you will not survive. And then we got a 4-star from Charlie that's out there. Marshall saying 4.5 stars. I would say even if this wasn't on the Vectrex, I would give it a 4-star like we did on ColecoVision, but because of the Vectrex, I'm giving it an extra star. This is one of the best games you could play across all home consoles up to this point, and with this genre, this style of game, this kind of shoot 'em up, it is better than Vanguard on the Atari 2600. This is auto-scrolling, but it's still fantastic. Oh, there we go. And then Brian K saying 4.5 as well. No one's said 3, but I'm going to have the guts. I really want this to be a 5-star game. This is a must-have on the Vectrex. It is a blast to play, and it's unique because there's not a lot of games on consoles that are playing this way. There is other games, of course, on home computers. All the clones that we played of Scramble are out there. But for consoles, though, I'm going to have to go 5. 5 stars for Scramble on the Vectrex. Top tier console video gaming here in December 1982. This one should be on your Christmas list. All right, after that, what could possibly be next?
A McDade's Christmas is family fun with the Magnavox
McDade's.
Odyssey 2 video computer game.
Hey, it's the Odyssey.
McDade's price now just $129.90.
130
and you get
bucks.
2 free game cartridges and
Ooh,
84.90
2. Wait,
suggested
2 games, you
retail
gotta pick
value
one?
direct from Odyssey. And McDade's has
think I saw
the
Pickaxe
sensational
Pete over
new
there. I picked
Odyssey
that.
2 voice
Oh,
and
yes.
sound effects module on
The
sale
voice.
too for just $79.90.
$80.
This year,
Wow.
Make it a McDade's Christmas.
That's right. It's Christmas time, and we're going to play the latest video game on your Magnavox Odyssey 2. This is Sid the Spellbinder. I am not familiar with Sid. Let's check it out together, starting with the box. It is like the other the game's boxes we've seen for the voice, at least. This one is only available on the Magnavox Odyssey 2. It's the 42nd game we've seen for this home console. And to my knowledge, this is not available on the European version, the Philips Video Pack, which we've seen 46 games for the European version of this console. But I'm sure you could just take the cartridge and plug it into the video pack and just not have the voice functionality. So the front of the box is whimsical and fun. You can tell it's, does it say for kids? Yeah, for ages 6 to 10. So put on your educational hats. Flip it over in the back, and there's the other games that we've already seen. Type and Tell, Nimble Numbers Net, and this is the newest. Sid the Spellbinder. What other artwork do we have for Sid the Spellbinder? What are we getting into with this? This one was done by Sam Overton. Way to go, Sam. It's the 8th time we've seen him do anything with any game on Chronologically Gaming. He did blackjack, golf, cosmic conflict, bowling, and basketball, just to name some of the games for the Magnavox Odyssey 2 and Philips Video Pack. Here's the cartridge for Sid the Spellbinder. We don't have really a lot of options. You push 0 and then you got level 1 or level 2. Easy peasy. That cartridge is ready to smack someone in the head. With an example of the screenshot, we don't really have too much there. Tell us, what in the world? How do we play Sid the Spellbinder? The manual will reveal all. Of course, the manual always tells us, make sure you power off your system before you put the cartridge in. We got it. Sid the Spellbinder. You push 0, and then you can do levels 1 or 2. Level 1 or 2 is just how many bullets you have. The voice will immediately say, monster attack, open fire. So the game is going to be talking to us. The giant sealed Spellbinder snakes across the screen. Okay, so he's a snake, all right. Your only defense is the missile launcher at the bottom of the screen. Oh, so we're going to actually shoot stuff. We're going to shoot Sid. This is getting better already. For an educational game, your ammunition's in the lower right corner. You get 30 missiles at level 1, 20 missiles at level 2. Oh, so maybe we should do a level 2 game. And then make sure that Sid doesn't reach the bottom, because if he does, he starts eating your bullets like the bird from the birds from Carnival. And then the score shows in the bottom right of the screen, because there's no way to play with anyone else. This is a single player only experience. There's no multiplayer modes whatsoever, because they know you're a lonely nerd with no friends. But maybe you'll learn something playing Sid the Spellbinder. The voice will then ask you, after you have destroyed the snake, to spell a word. You type in the letters in the alphabet on your keyboard, because the Odyssey 2 did have a very, very terrible keyboard to type it in. We're still calling this a home console, though. It's not a computer, even though they want it to be. And you get 10 missiles for every word you spell correctly. So you want to spell the words correctly so you have more ammunition, so you can shoot Sid some more. And then it just keeps going with this, and you try to get the highest score you can. Does it even have a high score, though? You spelled the word correctly. I guess we'll see when we boot it up. As usual, the manual is very colorful, very well done. Let's pop that cartridge in and check out Sid the Spellbinder by Sam Overton, published by Philips in the beginning of December 1982. Was this on your Christmas list? So look down at your keyboard for the Odyssey 2. You push 0 first. Now, if you couldn't understand what he said choose skill 1 or 2. So I'm going to do 2. Skill 2, monster attack. It is the origins of video games talking to us. So it's still really, really impressive. I cranked the volume really loud so you can kind of hear what's going on. Now spell what? And I'm going to need the help with chat on this. So everyone turn the volume up if you can for the video and tell me what you think the voice on the Magnavox Odyssey 2 just said for us. Spell, is this a chime? And it even says the letters when you type them in, which is... All right. Oh, fine. Maybe Brian's got it. Yes, thanks, Brian. Now spell what? Pickle? What did it say? You can't get it to repeat either. Once it says it, then you have to type it in. The other thing that's interesting about this game is we played other video games on like the IntelliVoice on Intellivision and then the voice that were just a novelty. You can still play the game without the module. This game, like the other ones we saw, Sid the Spellbinder and the Nimble Numbers Ned and Type and Tell, you have to have the voice module to play the game like this. If we didn't have the voice module, we have no idea what to spell. But even if we have the voice module, we still really don't know what to spell. And yes, there's another one, Marshall. We have here the voice samples from the Texas Instruments home computer as well. All right, so I'm going to try pickle. Incorrect. Spell kidding? The correct spelling of getting. Never would have gotten it. Now spell what did it say? Did it say chuckle? Oh, maybe it's hello. Oh, Okay, let me see. Spell children. Maybe that's it. We did it. So we did it. Now the monster attacks and we can do open fire. So it is an educational video game for children, but it actually has a shooting mode. So it gets a little extra points for that. This marks the 38th video game we played that is designed and made for children or early childhood. All the way back on the Apple II, we played games like Kid Venture. There were the Electric Company games that we saw on the Intellivision. Sticky Bear video games are out there, Snooper Troops, Gore-Tex and the Microchips, Bumbleplot, and then Owl Low has done Dragon's Keep and Bop-A-Bet. More recently, we saw Nellen is Thirsty, but of all the games you could play that are designed for kids, the best is still, in my opinion, Rocky's Boots, the best of all up to this point. So this is a fixed shooter, or it has a mode that's a fixed shooter. This marks the 415th fixed shooter that we've seen across all systems. It's the 55th fixed shooter we've seen on all home consoles, and it's the second one for the Magnavox Odyssey 2. The only other one we played is called Alien Invaders Plus. So what animal are we shooting at? Because it really looks like the dreaded Dratapillar of Venus from Casey's Crazy Chase. So shouldn't it be a centipede because of the way it looks? The manual calls it a snake, so I'm wondering if they didn't want this to be confused with centipede and avoid a lawsuit because, you know, they got sued for Casey's Crazy Chase. Watch out. So maybe that's why they call it a snake. Spell spider? Started? Yeah. Now spell funny? Boing? I couldn't hear what they said. I'll let the chat tune in to tell me if they think that they know what it's trying to say. This cartridge is the same size as Scramble. It's 4 kilobytes in size. It's 4 kilopower. And the voice module is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for speech synthesis. This marks the 27th, 28th game we've seen with speech synthesis. And this is the 7th game we've seen so far that is using the voice module. All right, let's try money. Is it money? Nope. Fine. Nope. Morning? I don't think they gave us enough syllables for that one. Did he just say now spell ass? What was that? Or was it ask? I already had a typo. It feels like I'm playing with a type and tell. Ask. Oh, it was asked. Brian, you got it. Yeah, there it is. There's our caterpillar. So all the games we played with the voice, you need to have the voice to play Type and Tell, Casey's Nimble Numbers Ned, and this one would be another option. But the other ones we've seen, like Casey's Crazy Chase or Crazy Chase, P.T. Barnum's Acrobats, and Smithereens, it's just a novelty. You don't have to play the game with the voice. It's just cool and fun to play it that way. We are going to get our bullets eaten up. So at this point on Chronologically Gaming, this is an educational game. It is mixing action, which is kind of nice. There are better games, though, that are educational than this title than we've seen so far. I'd say I've Got Your Number on the Odyssey 2 is a better educational game. Microscopic Journey for the Apple II, it would be better. Alien Edition on the Apple II. Dueling Digits for the Apple II. There's another game that has action and education called Number Nabber and Shape Grabber that we saw on the Commodore VIC-20. It had like a dig dug mode. I'd say that is better than this game. And then on the VIC-20, we played action and adventure educational games like English Invaders, where you're shooting things. But a better one on home consoles, I would say, is Word Zapper that we've seen recently for the Atari 2600. So now, for everybody that's here live in 1982, I'm sure you're not the demographic that they were looking for to play this game. But we do try to check out everything on home consoles. Make sure no video games are left behind on home consoles. So that means most of the educational, like electric company games on the Intellivision were there. Now, I originally put most of these games as kind of the same rating, but if you want to think of the other games that are educational for the voice, I'd say the worst is Type and Tell, because it's just like a speak and spell. And then Nimble Numbers Ned, I would say, is a little bit better. But then this game, I would say, is better than Nimble Numbers Ned. But again, this is a really small margin. It's not that much more impressive. Most people are saying 2.5 stars, but I did give Nimble Numbers Ned 3 stars. So I really don't want to rate this one less because it should be better. But I'm going to go ahead and say just 3. It's an average video game for all the games you could play on all home consoles. But the better of the examples for the voice, I would give to Sid, because it's a shoot 'em up. And how well you can hear the voice module to get more bullets, that's really up to you. Maybe it was the emulation. Maybe it was because my ears aren't so good. I need to practice listening to a speech synthesizer or something like that. All right, so that's where we got to put all the video game playing on pause, or video game learning on pause. Thanks so much, everyone that's here live in December 1982 on Chronologically Gaming, rating all the games and being here as we see game by game as they're released. Another big shout out I want to give is to everybody that's supporting us on Patreon right now. If you think this show's going too slow, are we taking too long to play every single video game? Do we need to get to 1983 faster? Then support us on Patreon so we can add more games or more time invested into this production. It started very humbly, and hopefully we can turn it into something big because this has never been done before. Well, next time on Chronologically Gaming, we are sneaking on the TRS-80. The Sinclair computer has snakes. And prepare yourself for the scariest video game you can play in the arcade. That's it for today, and like I always say, beware, I live. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and be a Chronologically Gaming influencer, rating the games as we play them. This video wouldn't be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and Main. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every video game. We have links down below that give more information on the games we played this episode, as well as our Discord and Patreon. There's a link called All the Games We Have Played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.